Hello guys, welcome to my video. Today we'll be talking about MVVM. What is MVVM and why Google encourages us to use MVVM? We will know in this video. Let's start by creating our project. We always choose empty view activity. Next, it will be MVVM lesson. We leave everything as it is, then we click finish. Let's open the build.gradle, the app module, not the project one. Let's update those dependencies to latest, and let's copy dependencies. For example, this one, which is related to the activity. Let's update it. Also, let's take the view model and the LiveData dependencies. Let's update everything. The latest version is 2.6.1. And let's sync our project. Also, let's use ViewBinding. We'll do that by adding build features. We'll set ViewBinding to true. Let's sync our project again. We forgot to write the L here, and we sync our project again. Now we can use ViewBinding. ViewBinding is a library provided by Google, which will let us call the IDs from the views without calling the old method, which is find view by ID. We just have the binding instance and we call the ID directly. So late init var binding, and it will be activity main binding. And let's set it here. Activity main binding dot inflate. It will take layout inflator. Instead of passing layout to set content view, let's pass binding dot truth. Okay, to give you an example of why we need MVVM, let's have a counter example. Here, let's put 0. We add the size to be like 40 SP, and the color to be black. Let's add a button under it. Button wrap content, wrap content. Let the button be under the text. Let's have an ID for the button. btn add. Let's have a text which is add, and all caps. We'll set it to true. For this, we'll have the ID to be TV num, and let's change here. Okay, so our UI is ready. Let's write the code which is related to the counter. Let's put here a variable which is number equal to 0. After that, we'll have binding dot btn add dot set on click listener. Each time we click the button, we'll have a new number on our screen. It will increase. So let's put I plus plus, which will increase, not I, num, which will increase the number. And after that, we'll call the binding and we'll set the new text. It will be num dot toString. Now our counter application is ready. Let's run the application. So our application will be running now. When we click, it adds the number by 1 every time we click. If we rotate our screen, it will be 0 again. So the state of our counter changes when we have a configuration change, like rotating the screen. So how we will save this number from a configuration change? MVVM will help us to avoid this behavior. Let's dive into the description of MVVM and how it works. MVVM basically is model view model. When we say model, we mean data collection or data change. All of this is happening in the model. When we say views, it will contain user interaction and we observe the change of data and we display it in our views. So we will have the view model providing the data from the model into view model using observables, and it will collect user interaction to have changes on the data. So view model will have all the communication between the model and the view. Let's see everything in code. First of all, let's create the view model like this. We have a class, we'll call it anything that is related to our work. For example, I will call it here main view model. It will inherit view model from the Android library that I put here. And we also will use LiveData to have the observables. First of all, let's create a private mutable LiveData to do encapsulation. Will be number result, which is equal to mutable which is mutable LiveData. Will take integer and a default value of 0. And we'll have, I'm sorry, and we'll have here number, which is a LiveData of integer which will be equal to the mutable LiveData. And we'll have here var num equal to 0. Just like we had here, var num equals 0. This will be moved to here. We'll have a function called add. Inside our function, we'll have the number to be plus plus to add one at a time, and we will update our mutable LiveData. Post value, it will take the value of number, the new value. So our logic is ready. Let's test our logic here. We just have an instance of our view model. Okay, then view model dot add. This will add a number, add 1 to the number each time we click the application. But we need to update our UI, so we'll need to call our observable, which is the number LiveData. It will be ViewModel dot number dot observe. It will take a lifecycle owner, which is this, the number. We'll take it in a lambda, and we'll call binding dot tvnum dot text will be equal to num dot toString. So let's put private here because we don't want to access the number from here. We want to only access it from the live data through the observable. Now we can retest our code. Now we click and it adds 1 each time we click. Let's rotate our screen. As you can see, 20 we add. So now our application holds the value even if we have a configuration change. Why is that? Let me tell you why. Here we have the activity life cycle on create, on start, on resume. When we are on resume, everything is visible to the user. But when we rotate our screen, the activity gets destroyed. When the activity gets destroyed, all of the values will be reset. So we'll get back to 0. But when we have our values in the view model, it will not be affected from the configuration change. It will be affected when we destroy our activity itself and go to another activity, or we close our application, then the values will be resetted. So this helped us in order to save the values inside our application. Now, for example, I want to add a new event, a new user interaction event, which is reset. For example, I want him to have the reset functionality to reset the value to 0. How we can do that? Simply, we assign num to 0 and we'll we post the value to the mutable live data, the new value of num. And let's implement that in our application using the same button, but using long click listener. And we'll pass false here. So, and I'm sorry, it will be reset. Okay, so when we run our application, we do add, then we reset to 0. We add, we reset to 0. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned a new thing today, and goodbye.